finally made you go full bridezilla at someone else's wedding? When I found my 6-year-old disabled nephew locked in a hot car during my sister's outdoor ceremony, I'd noticed his wheelchair wasn't at the ceremony, but my mom said he was resting inside because the heat was too much for him. Something felt wrong though. During the vows, I slipped away to check on him. I searched the bridal suite, the venue's quiet room, even the kitchen. Nothing. That's when I heard it. This weak crying sound coming from the parking lot. I found Lucas locked in my sister's SUV, windows up, no AC, strapped in his special needs car seat, drenched in sweat. The thermometer on my phone showed 97 degrees outside, which meant it was probably 120 in that car. His lips were cracked and white. His medication alarm had been going off for who knows how long, and he'd wet himself probably hours ago. His feeding tube had come loose and formula was everywhere, mixed with vomit. I smashed the window with my heel to get him out. When I carried him back toward the venue, the wedding coordinator tried to stop me. The ceremony is still happening, she whispered. You can't interrupt. I asked her if she knew there was a disabled child locked in a car. She looked away and said my sister told her he was better off napping and to ignore any noises. I walked straight to the reception tent with Lucas barely conscious in my arms. His head kept falling backward in this terrifying way, and when I tried to give him water from my flask, it just dribbled out of his mouth. My sister Ashley was taking photos with her new husband Brad when she saw me. The photographer kept snapping as her face went from confused to angry. What are you doing? She hissed. He was fine. He likes the car. It's his safe space. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Our mom rushed over and said I was making a scene over nothing, that Lucas doesn't feel heat like normal kids because of his cerebral palsy. My aunt grabbed my arm and said family doesn't air dirty laundry in public. Then my uncle Jim, who's a doctor by the way, glanced at Lucas and just shrugged. Kids are resilient, he said, then went back to his champagne. My own cousin took out her phone to film me, not to help, but because she said I was being psycho again. Brad, the new husband, walked over all calm and said, maybe it's time we consider a facility for him anyway. This is too much for Ashley to handle. That's when I realized this wasn't neglect. This was intentional. I started calling other family members who couldn't make the wedding, and when I called my grandma, she said something that made everything click. Turns out Ashley had been asking about Dad's will. You see, when my dad died 2 years ago, he left everything in a trust for Lucas's care, with Ashley as the trustee. If something happened to Lucas, Ashley would inherit everything, almost $500,000. When I confronted Ashley again, she rolled her eyes. You're so dramatic, she said. He's fine. Look, he's not even crying anymore. She was right. Lucas had gone quiet, his eyes rolling back, this white foam at the corners of his mouth. That's when Brad stepped in with his lawyer voice. You need to calm down. You're creating liability issues for the venue. If you don't stop this right now, we'll have security remove you. The wedding planner actually started walking toward me with 2 security guards. My own mother said, please don't ruin your sister's special day. We can discuss this later. Then Ashley leaned in close and whispered something I'll never forget. Dad should have left it all to me anyway. Lucas will never know the difference. That's when I knew I had to go nuclear. I took Lucas straight to my car and drove to the ER, still in my bridesmaid dress. The triage nurse took one look at him and rushed us to the back immediately. His core temperature was 103 degrees 8. The doctor said another 30 minutes could have caused permanent brain damage or death. They started IV fluids and cooling protocols while documenting everything, the dehydration, the missed medications, the heat stroke symptoms, the fact that he'd been restrained and couldn't free himself. But then the doctor found something else. Bruising on his ribs consistent with being struck and old injection sites that didn't match his medical records. How long has he been in your sister's care? She asked. When I said 2 years since Dad died, her face went pale. We need to do a full skeletal survey, she said. The x-rays came back showing healed fractures, 3 of them, all at different stages of healing. This combined with the hot car evidence made the doctor's face go dark. This is attempted murder, he said, and called the police himself. 2 officers took my statement while Lucas was stabilized. I gave them every bit of evidence I had, from the wedding coordinator's words to the bit about Dad's will. They called for additional units and a CPS emergency response team. We returned to the venue just as they were cutting the cake. I walked in first, still in my bridesmaid dress, now covered in Lucas's urine and sweat. Behind me came 2 uniformed officers, a detective, and the CPS investigator. The music stopped. All 200 guests turned to stare. Ashley's perfect wedding became a crime scene. She was arrested in her wedding dress. Brad tried to argue jurisdiction and threatened lawsuits, but the detective shut him down with one sentence. Sir, we have evidence of attempted murder of a disabled child. Full story on channel linked below.